In a world hurtling towards artificial superintelligence, quantum computers are the secret to the code of the universe, revealing hidden realities. But amidst this technological revolution, an age-old question persists. What about the human soul? For millennia, it was the domain of faith and metaphysics. Now science is venturing into this final frontier. As AI approaches human-level intelligence, we're discovering astonishing links between technology and consciousness. Quantum effects in our neurons, the observer effect in quantum mechanics, the power of human intention influencing physical reality. Once dismissed as mysticism, these concepts are now at the forefront of scientific exploration.
So that the baby doesn't experience crippling depression their whole life. Okay. Then there's another part of me that thinks the most important company in the world would be this one that we just said, which is connecting humans, uploading their brain, then you're independent of your body, uploading it, and then being able to put it into younger bodies. The problem is, I'll tell you what the problem is. It's not sure.
We stand on the brink of the technological singularity, a point where AI, quantum computing, and human consciousness converge in ways we can barely imagine. What happens when machines surpass human intelligence? When the boundaries between mind and computer blur? When science can finally quantify the intangible essence we call the soul?
The quantum soul. This may be scientifically feasible. Here's a picture of an out-of-body experience. I work in medicine and anesthesiology. We hear stories about this all the time. Examinations of people having cardiac arrest show it's a real effect. And the near-death experience is something that really needs to be studied.
The answers could transform everything, from the nature of reality to the future of human evolution. But as we race towards this merging of silicon and spirit, a crucial question emerges. In a world of artificial minds, what role remains for the human soul?
But there's a conflict in the heart of science between science as a method of inquiry based on reason, evidence, hypothesis, and collective investigation, and science as a belief system or a worldview. And unfortunately, the worldview aspect of science has come to inhibit and constrict the free inquiry, which is the very lifeblood of the scientific endeavor.
This series delves into the cutting-edge research and profound philosophical questions that arise as we approach this ultimate convergence. Prepare to challenge your understanding of intelligence, consciousness, and the very essence of humanity. In the face of AI's rapid ascent, we search for hope, not in resistance, but in synthesis. Could the singularity be not an ending, but a new beginning for the human spirit?
The soul is actually, in the most amazing way, your scriptwriter. And so your soul actually defines some of your experiences and your expectations. That can be a problem at times. Your soul is really the energy that guides you in the physicality of this world that I call the duality world.
And the human mind is a mystery. It is a vast, intricate network of thoughts, emotions, and experiences that define our very existence. From the moment we wake up to the time we fall asleep, our consciousness is at work, shaping our reality and our perception of the world around us. It is the seat of our thoughts, emotions, and experiences. Every decision we make, every feeling we experience, and every memory we hold is a testament to the power of our conscious mind. But despite its central role in our lives, the true nature of consciousness remains elusive. But what is the nature of consciousness? How does it emerge from the complex interplay of neurons and synapses in our brain? Is it merely a byproduct of brain activity? Or is there something more profound at play? How does it arise from the physical matter of the brain? This question has baffled scientists and philosophers alike. The brain, with its billions of neurons and trillions of connections, is a marvel of biological engineering. Yet, the leap from neural activity to conscious experience is one of the greatest mysteries of our time.
The soul.
It's a concept that has captivated humanity for millennia. It represents our essence, our thoughts, our very being. Yet, in this age of artificial intelligence, where algorithms mimic human thought, the soul's existence seems more elusive than ever. Can science, a discipline rooted in observation and measurement, truly grapple with something as intangible as the soul?
For centuries, the concept of the soul was firmly within the domain of religion and spirituality. It was a matter of faith, not scientific inquiry. Then came the Enlightenment, a period of unprecedented scientific discovery and intellectual revolution. Reason and empirical evidence became the new deities, and the soul, with no measurable properties, was relegated to the realm of superstition.
Let me ask you a very basic question. For you,
Yes.
in this AI era,
Yeah.
what is the soul?
Haha. What is the soul? I think the soul is the part of us that science can't figure out yet. Now scientists don't call it the soul, they call it like the quantum. The part that's so small, we can't measure it yet. So there's a part to humans, like there's something called quantum consciousness that one of the Nobel Prize winners, Roger Penrose, talks about, which is like you're asleep, life's not going well for you, nothing's winning, and you wake up with like an instant idea, an invention, a solution.
Sir Roger Penrose, a renowned physicist with a radical idea, he proposes that consciousness, the very essence of our being, is not simply a product of the brain's biochemistry. Instead, he posits it originates at the quantum level, the subatomic realm where the laws of classical physics break down. Penrose's theory, dubbed orchestrated objective reduction, Orch OR, is as complex as it is intriguing. It hinges on the behavior of microtubules, tiny structures within our brain cells. These microtubules, according to Penrose, are the stage for quantum computations that give rise to consciousness. This is no mere philosophical musing. Penrose, along with anesthesiologist Sir Hameroff, has developed a detailed framework for how this quantum consciousness might work. Their theory suggests that consciousness arises from the collapse of quantum wave functions within these microtubules, a process fundamentally different from the deterministic laws governing the macroscopic world.
Examinations of people having cardiac arrest show it's a real effect, and the near-death experience is something that really needs to be studied.
When somebody's gone through a cardiac arrest, when they've technically gone beyond the threshold of death, we have a situation where, whether we like it or not, the brain shuts down.
Yes.
So to simplify the next question,
Yeah.
why you think someone like Roger Penrose and
Yes.
others who shares with him this idea of quantum mind, that somehow it's the soul,
Yes.
are shut down and cancelled?
So, at first, they laughed at Roger Penrose, even though he had a Nobel Prize. Then people started to get mad. And slowly, people are going, wow. Because we lived through the last 100 years was the rise of atheism from the late 1800s to the late 1900s.
Atheism gained traction, offering a worldview devoid of supernatural entities. The soul, once a cornerstone of human existence, was reduced to a mere artifact of a bygone era.
And then science started to grow in the late 1800s. And so people went from believing in God to believing in superstition too much. And they went all the way to the other extreme, to atheism. And now the world's come back to center. Like a lot of scientists are starting to discover that the things that religion talked about, that there's some truth to it.
This re-engagement with the unknown has led some scientists to reconsider long-held assumptions. Perhaps they suggest we were too quick to dismiss the spiritual and the intangible. Could it be that science, in its relentless pursuit of knowledge, has stumbled upon the very essence of the soul?
Penrose and Hameroff's theory was met with skepticism and resistance from the scientific community. Critics argued that the brain was too warm, wet, and noisy for delicate quantum effects to occur. Quantum states are notoriously fragile and easily disrupted by their environment. The brain, with its constant electrical activity and fluctuating temperatures, seemed like an impossible place for quantum coherence to exist. Many scientists considered Penrose and Hameroff's ideas to be bordering on pseudoscience. They pointed to the lack of experimental evidence for quantum effects in the brain. Moreover, the existing understanding of neuroscience suggested that consciousness could be explained by classical models of brain function. The criticism and skepticism surrounding Penrose and Hameroff's theory led to a sense of isolation within the scientific community. Their ideas were often dismissed without serious consideration. Conferences and journals were hesitant to provide a platform for their work. The dominant paradigm in neuroscience continued to focus on classical explanations for consciousness. Despite the lack of acceptance, Penrose and Hameroff continued to refine and develop their theory. They published books and articles, gave lectures, and engaged in debates. They believed that their ideas were worth exploring, even if they challenged the prevailing scientific dogma. Section 5. Echoes of Quantum Mechanics in Biology. In recent years, there has been a growing body of evidence suggesting that quantum effects might indeed play a role in biological systems.
So to me, the reason Penrose was laughed at is because he lived through the rise of extreme atheism, which is probably going away now. You know what zeitgeist means? It's a German word, the spirit of the times. So whatever the spirit of the times are, every academic is also pressured to not lose their job. There's the old saying, there's no atheists in a foxhole in battle. The trench there, everybody's praying to something.
But is that a proof that somehow God exists? Because we reach deep inside ourselves once we are in trouble?
I think there's an instinct within all of us to realize we're small.
There is something bigger than us.
Yeah, people look up. I mean, ancient people used to look up. I read a book that the average person in 500 years ago who lived in Hawaii or Tahiti, they could name 1,200 stars.
Biologist Rupert Sheldrake and his theory of morphic resonance. Sheldrake proposes a radical concept that memory is not just confined to our brains, but is woven into the fabric of nature itself. He suggests that we are connected through invisible fields called morphic fields, which act as blueprints for form and behavior. These fields, according to Sheldrake, carry a kind of memory, an echo of the past that influences the present. Imagine a library, but instead of books, it holds the collective memory of every creature and system that ever existed. This is the essence of morphic resonance. It suggests that each species, each living system taps into this invisible library, drawing upon the experiences and patterns of its predecessors. This inheritance, Sheldrake argues, shapes our instincts, our habits, and even the way we form societies. The implications of such a theory are profound, challenging our very understanding of biology, evolution, and the nature of consciousness itself. Is it possible that we are more interconnected than we ever imagined? Could our actions today resonate through these invisible fields, influencing the future of our species and the planet? He proposes that memory, both instinctive and learned, can be passed down through generations via these invisible morphic fields. This means that the experiences of our ancestors, their learned behaviors and acquired skills, could leave a subtle imprint on our own lives. Think of it like this: a path through a forest traveled by countless feet before you. The more it is used, the more defined it becomes, making it easier for others to follow. Similarly, Sheldrake suggests that repeated patterns of behavior, from nest building in birds to social structures in humans, create pathways within morphic fields. These pathways, imbued with the memory of past generations, can then influence the behavior of future individuals, even if they have no direct experience or genetic predisposition towards those actions. This concept of inherited memory challenges our fundamental understanding of learning and evolution. It suggests that we are born with a pre-existing resonance with our kind, a connection to the collective experience of our ancestors. This resonance, according to Sheldrake, guides our development, shaping our instincts and predisposing us to certain behaviors. Think of a magnetic field. You can't see it, but you can see its effects on metal filings. Similarly, morphic fields, while invisible, could be shaping the development and behavior of organisms and even larger systems like flocks of birds or colonies of ants. These fields, according to Sheldrake, are constantly being shaped and reshaped by the cumulative experiences of all individuals within a species. Each time a bird learns a new song, each time a rat navigates a maze. The information is subtly registered within the morphic field, making it slightly easier for the next generation to learn the same song or navigate the same maze. Rupert Sheldrake's theory of morphic resonance, it's not without its critics. Many in the scientific community have expressed skepticism. They argue that the theory lacks empirical evidence and doesn't fit within the established frameworks of physics and biology. Sheldrake suggests that everything in the universe is linked through a network of invisible connections. These connections, he argues, are what enable morphic resonance to occur. In our final scene, we reimagine the boundaries of science, soul, and consciousness. Pioneers such as Sheldrake, Sherry Anshara, Penrose, and Tai Lopez challenges us to expand our scientific paradigms to include phenomena that are often dismissed or ignored. They believe that by embracing a more holistic view of the universe, we can gain deeper insights into the nature of reality and our place within it. This reimagining calls for an open mind and a willingness to explore the unknown.
But there's a conflict in the heart of science between science as a method of inquiry based on reason, evidence, hypothesis, and collective investigation, and science as a belief system or a worldview. And unfortunately, the worldview aspect of science has come to inhibit and constrict the free inquiry, which is the very lifeblood of the scientific endeavor.
How would you define the soul in the context of your work?
The soul is actually, in the most amazing way, your scriptwriter. And so your soul actually defines some of your experiences and your expectations. That can be a problem at times. Your soul is really the energy that guides you in the physicality of this world that I call the duality world. So your soul is really the foundation or the resource of all of your experiences, the writer of your script.
So could you expand on that and say how the soul actually connects to consciousness and memory?
Your soul really is your consciousness. People ask me, what's my purpose? You don't have one purpose. You have many purposes throughout your life, each and every day.
New experimental techniques are being developed to probe the brain for signs of quantum coherence. Theoretical models are becoming more sophisticated, incorporating insights from both quantum mechanics and neuroscience. The study of quantum biology is still in its infancy, but it holds the potential to revolutionize our understanding of life itself. If quantum effects are indeed at play in the brain, it would require a fundamental shift in our understanding of consciousness and its place in the universe. Section 8, Bridging the Gap from Quantum to Consciousness. The quest to understand consciousness is one of the greatest scientific challenges of our time. The quantum mind theory, once relegated to the fringes of science, is now being considered as a serious possibility. While experimental evidence remains elusive, the theoretical groundwork laid by Penrose-Hameroff and others has opened up new avenues of inquiry. The journey from quantum mechanics to consciousness is fraught with complexity and uncertainty, but it is a journey worth taking, for it holds the promise of unlocking one of the most profound mysteries of the human mind. Section 9. The Future of Quantum Consciousness. The future of the quantum mind theory depends on the advancement of both experimental and theoretical research. This involves not only understanding the fundamental principles of quantum mechanics, but also how these principles can be applied to biological systems. Researchers are tirelessly working to bridge the gap between the abstract world of quantum physics and the tangible reality of biological processes. Scientists are developing new tools to detect and manipulate quantum states within biological systems. These tools are at the cutting edge of technology, allowing researchers to observe phenomena that were previously thought to be beyond the reach of scientific inquiry. The ability to manipulate quantum states in biological systems could revolutionize our understanding of life itself. These tools will be essential for probing the brain for signs of quantum coherence and testing the predictions of the Orch OR theory, or orchestrated objective reduction, suggests that consciousness arises from quantum processes within the brain. By testing this theory, scientists hope to uncover the quantum underpinnings of consciousness. As our understanding of both quantum mechanics and neuroscience deepens, we can expect to see more refined and sophisticated models of the quantum mind. These models will integrate the latest discoveries in both fields, providing a more comprehensive picture of how quantum processes might contribute to consciousness. Collaboration between neuroscientists and physicists is crucial in this endeavor. These models will need to account for the complexity of the brain and the subtle interplay between quantum and classical effects. The brain is an incredibly intricate organ, and understanding its full complexity requires a multidisciplinary approach. Researchers must consider not only the quantum effects, but also how these effects interact with classical neurological processes. The exploration of quantum consciousness is a journey into uncharted territory, a quest to understand the very essence of what it means to be human. This journey is not just about scientific discovery, it is also about exploring the philosophical implications of consciousness. As we delve deeper into the quantum realm, we may find answers to some of the most profound questions about human existence and the nature of reality itself.
So people used to be very connected to things bigger than themselves. You'd see the stars, you'd see them move, and now, because we have science, sometimes we lose our sense of awe. It's still pretty crazy that we're seeing light from stars that are, billion miles away. So, yeah, modern world probably makes us think less about God.
Yourself, what do you think happens after we die?
After we die? It's a good question. I'm not sure, to be honest. Part of me likes what India. Reincarnation is kind of true. I think on a physical level, there's kind of a reincarnation, or physicists say that matter's neither or energy is neither, created or destroyed. This law of conservation. So, in that sense, our energy isn't destroyed. It's reformed.
We live in an age of technological marvels. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is rapidly changing our world. From self-driving cars to virtual assistants, AI is becoming increasingly sophisticated. Quantum computing is another groundbreaking technology. It harnesses the bizarre rules of quantum mechanics. This allows for computational power far beyond anything we can currently imagine. These technologies are not just tools, they are forcing us to rethink our place in the universe. What does it mean to be human in an age of intelligent machines? How will these technologies shape our future? These are some of the questions we must grapple with.
Human brain is a quantum computer. Yes. So the things that are the human brain that take innovation, you got to be able to compete with computers. Things like making coffee and handing it to people, because the cool thing about a robot, is part of me hates that thought, but part of me is like, man, humans make a lot of mistakes. Humans get tired, and robot would never mess up your order. Yeah. But I understand it's also bad. People go, well, now we won't have jobs.
But no, I think that will push a human to be more human.
For centuries, the human soul has been the domain of philosophers and theologians. However, science is now beginning to explore this mysterious realm. Neuroscience is making huge strides in understanding the brain. We are starting to unravel the biological basis of thoughts, emotions, and consciousness itself. Some scientists believe that quantum mechanics may play a role in consciousness. Quantum effects are strange and counterintuitive. They govern the behavior of particles at the subatomic level. Could these same effects be at play in our brains? The idea of quantum consciousness is still speculative. However, it offers a tantalizing possibility. What if our minds are not just biological computers? What if they are also quantum computers capable of tapping into a deeper level of reality? This could explain the subjective experience of consciousness. It could also explain phenomena like intuition and creativity. If our brains are indeed quantum computers, then the implications are profound. It means that we are connected to the universe in ways we never imagined. It means that the human soul may be more than just a metaphor.
Wouldn't maybe that be moving to the next step? That's what happens when we die?
Exactly. That's like reincarnation, or
maybe the quantum mind is the eternal one, and this one is what you called
the transhumanism.
Transhuman version of
Yeah.
our life?
For sure.
Dolores Cannon was a pioneering hypnotherapist who spent over 40 years exploring the unknown. Through her unique hypnosis technique, quantum healing hypnosis technique, or QHHT, she claimed to access past lives and otherworldly knowledge. One of her most intriguing ideas is the concept of soul groups. According to Cannon, we travel through lifetimes with the same group of souls, playing different roles for each other. Imagine your best friend in this life being your sibling in another. It's a comforting thought that suggests our relationships are deeper than we realize. Another cornerstone of her teachings is the idea of volunteers. Cannon believed that many people on Earth today are souls who volunteered to come here to help raise the planet's vibration. These volunteers, according to her, come from various dimensions and planets, bringing with them unique abilities and energies. Ever felt like you didn't quite belong? Maybe you're one of those volunteers. And then there's the concept of the new Earth. Cannon described a shift where Earth will split into two dimensions, the old Earth and the new Earth. The new Earth, as she explained, is a higher vibrational state where love and peace prevail. This shift, she said, depends on our collective consciousness and choices. Dolores Cannon's teachings are certainly out there, but they open up endless possibilities for understanding our existence. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, her ideas challenge us to think beyond the conventional and explore the depths of our souls. So, what do you think? Could there be more to our lives than what meets the eye? Let's keep exploring, shall we? Stay curious and see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Her name's Dolores Cannon, okay? And she is the most confident person in her theories. She talks for hours about how she was a therapist and for thousands of people, and she discovered that people have past lives and they're experiencing past lives. And she has a theory that basically we're here to learn, and Earth is the hardest place in the universe. And so this is where you go to learn the most, and it's the hardest. And if you don't learn it in this lifetime, you have to go through it again. And that's a little bit like the India thing. So I don't know. There's so much out there that could be true. One thing on the quantum conversation, what scientists have found in my 67 steps, which is kind of like my mindset course. I don't know if you've ever been in that, but I have a new version of the 67 steps. And one of them is, I call it quantum conclusions. So at the classical large world, we pretty much know if I drop this, that gravity's gonna pull it down. At the quantum teeny level, we don't know what's gonna happen. Things happen that aren't supposed to happen, right? And there's no absolutes, there's only probabilities.
The technological singularity is a hypothetical point in time. It is when AI surpasses human intelligence. This event could have a profound impact on our species. Some experts believe that the singularity could lead to an era of unprecedented prosperity and progress. Others fear that it could lead to the extinction of humanity. Regardless of what the future holds, one thing is certain: we are on the cusp of a new era in human history. The convergence of AI, quantum computing, and our growing understanding of consciousness has the potential to reshape our world in ways we can only begin to imagine. It is up to us to ensure that this future is one of hope and progress, where technology and the human spirit work together to create a better tomorrow.
No question, but it will take time to ask, so bear with me, but it's somehow, I'm grouping everything you said today. So we said, to make crazy money, to go to the next level, you need to stick to the difficult things. Right?
Correct.
To go to really the things or the skills that nobody can replicate in what you said, 5 minutes.
Yes.
And now let's link that to what you just said about science and immortality and upgrading or uploading our life into another life, right?
Yes.
You talked about startup. If today, and this is the question now, if today there is a startup who will come approach you and tell you, and does not exist, I'm not trying to say it exists.
Yeah.
If there is a startup comes and tells you, hey, we figured a way to connect our world to the quantum soul world.
Okay.
And we are working on a device that will let you somehow upload your consciousness or connect your quantum consciousness to this device.
Yes.
And then assure a continuity in this life after death.
Okay.
And the question, will you raise money, invest in that, or you will consider that madness?
No, I'd be interested. Madness doesn't scare me. Sometimes I used to say to one of my business partners, I have a crazy idea I'm about to tell you. And he would say, I used to be scared of those, but those are usually your best ideas. So mad idea? No, I would. That is a tricky one. I mean, I think Elon Musk is kind of working on that with Neuralink. So if there's a competitor to Neuralink, yes. You know, I answer this. I sometimes think, what's the best company I could ever come up with? Forget making money. What's the most important company for humanity? I used to say the most important is genetic engineering. So for example, babies that are born and they're going to have high likelihood of depression while they're in the mother's womb, or even before conception, could you alter the gene code so that the baby doesn't experience crippling depression their whole life? Okay. Then there's another part of me that thinks the most important company in the world would be this one that we just said, which is connecting humans, uploading their brain, then you're independent of your body, uploading it, and then being able to put it into younger bodies. The problem is, I'll tell you what the problem is. It's not sure, like you brought it up, maybe all of our experience is in our cells too. So you can't just upload the brain. When you downloaded it, you'd find yourself a totally different being. You wouldn't.
In your experience, how do cellular memories influence a person's emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being?
That's a very good question. Actually, your cellular memory is an aggregate of all of your experiences in this timeline, or in the quantum timelines of yours, your continuum. It is in each timeline we memorize, cellular memorization that will override at times because of emotions. And by the way, emotions are the core of every illness on this planet. Emotions are the core. There are no aspects of intelligence in emotions. So emotions establish illness, disease, and dysfunction. The best part of it is by connecting to the cellular memory, and in a real simple way. When you are conceived, when the sperm hits the egg in any timeline, your nose knows to be a nose cell. Your toe knows to be a toe cell. Or otherwise, you'd have a fingernail at the end of your nose. So the memory remembers being perfect. So when they were able to get to the core of why they had the cancer, why they were eating themselves alive in any parts of the body or any of the systems, they got the answer, and guess what happened? They healed themselves. You cannot cure people. You cure hams and meat. You cannot cure people. So in the quantum field that you are, when you connect to that resonance, the body remembers being healthy and perfect.
AI, with its circuits and sensors, tries to mimic human emotions. You see digital interfaces seamlessly blending into natural human memories. What exactly is soul? It's intricate, it's controversial, but it's undeniably captivating. But what does this mean for AI? Can artificial intelligence ever truly be conscious, have a soul? AI is revolutionizing our world, breaking barriers in ways we never imagined. Will AI enhance our potential, or will it overshadow the essence of what makes us human? AI may become incredibly advanced, but it will never possess a soul. Consciousness is more than just data processing. It's about the soul's journey, something uniquely human that AI can never replicate. As we close this vibrant exploration, let's reflect on the delicate balance between AI and human soul. The future is filled with possibilities, but it's up to us to navigate these uncharted waters. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the realm of AI and human soul.
The soul is, in my understanding, and after actually having a near-death experience and coming back to life in 2007 during a test, that's another story for another time. Anybody who wants to know that, come and look me up. We'll kick it. We'll talk about the story. But the soul is unknowable for us as humans. It is so beyond our ability to possibly fathom. And that's a beautiful thing, because we're not supposed to fathom it. We're supposed to be here having experience. And we have to give our body back eventually, right? But what do we get to experience in between breath one and breath last?
While some researchers posit that awareness alteration drugs such as psychedelics might unlock extraordinary states of consciousness, supposedly revealing glimpses of quantum-level phenomena, others see these claims as speculative at best, more akin to a hallucinatory leap of faith than a robust scientific breakthrough. Despite interesting anecdotal reports and a handful of clinical trials, much of the current excitement arguably outpaces the solid data, making it premature to conclude that substances like psilocybin or DMT offer any genuine portal into a deeper reality. Neurochemical mechanisms suffice to explain the majority of experiences thus far. Vivid visions, ego dissolution, and feelings of soul-cosmic unity might simply be artifacts of altered neuronal firing rather than evidence of quantum effects in microtubules or any link to a transcendent soul. Skeptics argue that drawing parallels between these chemically induced states and quantum mind theories risks conflating subjective euphoria with objective evidence. They caution that the intensity of the psychedelic experience can create illusions of metaphysical insight, much as a dream can seem real until one awakens. Without rigorous replication and a theoretical model that can withstand empirical scrutiny, claims of quantum consciousness accessed through psychoactive substances remain closer to science fiction than validated fact. In truth, references to psychedelics unveiling the secrets of the universe may owe more to cultural fascination than to measurable discoveries. In the same way Frank Herbert's Dune imagined the spice melange granting expanded consciousness and prescience to those daring enough to consume it, modern enthusiasm for psychedelic compounds can resemble an otherworldly quest for cosmic insight. Within Herbert's fictional universe, spice-powered star travel and psychic feats, just as current advocates suggest psychedelics might enable quantum or spiritual leaps in our world. Yet, as with all good science fiction, the leap from creative speculation to reproducible science is enormous. For those urging caution, the wise approach is clear: remain open to legitimate findings while insisting on rigorous methodology and peer-reviewed evidence. Until then, likening these substances to an actual spice that might expand our quantum horizons or reveal the nature of consciousness itself risks slipping into myth. The fundamental reality is that while psychedelics can elicit powerful experiences, there is scant proof that they unify us with any objective quantum dimension or truly breach the material confines of the mind. As with other frontiers in the study of the soul, a healthy dose of skepticism reminds us that in seeking answers, we must guard against elevating wishful thinking to the status of validated science. Gary Zukav, author, spiritual teacher, and a guide to the deeper realms of consciousness. Gary Zukav is best known for his groundbreaking work, The Seat of the Soul. This book didn't just make waves. It became a tidal force that rippled through the hearts and minds of spiritual seekers around the globe. So, what exactly is a universal human? Gary Zukav describes it as an individual who aligns their personality with their soul. It's about living in harmony with the energies of the universe, transcending the limitations of the five-sensory world and awakening to a multisensory perception of reality. Imagine living from a place where your actions, thoughts, and feelings are guided by the intentions of love, compassion, and creativity. This is the essence of creating authentic power, a power rooted not in external achievements or control, but in the alignment of your personality with your soul's purpose. Gary teaches that authentic power comes from making conscious choices, choices that are free from fear, anger, jealousy, or resentment. Instead, they are inspired by love, authenticity, and the intention to contribute to the well-being of others. Are they rooted in love or fear? Gary's teachings remind us that we are all interconnected, and each step we take towards authentic power contributes to the evolution of humanity's collective consciousness.
And in there, he has an interesting analogy about what the soul is, and in relation to us and our perception right now as a physical being. He likens it to this, that your body and your mind and your thoughts and your perceptions while you're here in a life. It's like a cup. It's like a glass. Your higher self is like a big bucket. Your soul is like the ocean. It is unfathomable to even your higher self how grand we are. And if we had even the slightest idea of how immense, immortal, unlimited, and eternal we really are, our body would vaporize. We wouldn't be able to hold it. It would kill us. When people put God in a box and they say, God is this, God is that, God is, he is, or she is, or they are, I think they kind of miss the point that the infinite architect of all that is, the all, is not anything, and it is everything, including every atom, the space in between every single atom, every galaxy, every wormhole, every frequency, every thought you have, every cell in your body, everything. It goes back to the all is one.
Nate Zeleznik, pioneer of the integrated ascension method. Nate Zeleznik is the founder of the integrated ascension method, or IAM, a system that combines ancient Indonesian martial arts with modern wellness practices. In 1999, he became the first person outside Indonesia permitted to learn Merpati Putih, also known as White Dove, a sacred martial art practiced by Indonesian armed forces for decades. After training for over 37,000 hours and accumulating 2.5 decades of teaching experience, Zeleznik developed his own methodology that synthesizes traditional practices with contemporary approaches. His system incorporates breathwork, meditation, energy work, and physical training techniques. The integrated ascension method combines elements of the ancient Merpati Putih system with modern practices such as biohacking, vibroacoustic therapy, brainwave entrainment, and nutritional approaches. Zeleznik offers this training through various formats, including online courses, group classes, and one-on-one sessions. Throughout his career, Zeleznik has focused on helping leaders, athletes, and individuals experiencing breathing difficulties. His teachings emphasize proper breathing techniques, meditation, and what he describes as developing inner power, similar to concepts like chi or prana in other traditions. Ranging from psychology to professional boxing, who credit his methods with enhancing their performance and well-being. Documentary narration. What places Zeleznik at the frontier of consciousness research is his bridge between quantum physics and ancient wisdom traditions. While neuroscientists map brainwaves during his meditation protocols, quantum physicists examine the energetic fields his practitioners generate. These measurable phenomena challenge our fundamental understanding of human potential and the nature of consciousness itself. Where science seeks the physical basis of consciousness, Zeleznik explores what many traditions call the soul, that ineffable essence transcending biological function. His work with terminal patients has documented experiences that defy conventional explanation, suggesting consciousness may extend beyond our current scientific paradigms. Ancient Indonesian wisdom, merged with cutting-edge biohacking technology, is creating what Zeleznik calls the next evolution of human potential, all beginning with a single conscious breath and extending into realms where science and spirituality converge in the search for humanity's deepest truths.
We live at this time in a society of comparison. We have Instagram where people swipe left. We have the declining self-confidence of people seeing all these Instagram influencers and models. The porn industry is off the charts. We have Democrats, we have Republicans, we have Protestants, we have Muslims, we have all this division. And yet we also have this ability to come together. And we have this ability to come and be within ourselves and find our own truth. And that is the most important thing. It's not about what the scientific literature says as much as it is what you actually experience for yourself. And I'm not talking about belief, because belief is a poor substitute for knowledge. I'm talking about when you ring the bell, you can't unring it. And it's up to each and every single one of us to go and ring our bell. We have to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and find out what's real for us. That's why I love what I do. It's because I give people as many tools as I possibly can so they can make that realization for themselves. Because I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes down to being a guide, I'm a Sherpa. I'll make sure you have a good North Face tent and a sleeping bag and have a good trail map up to the top of the mountain. But I'm not a helicopter. I'm not going to try to carry you up the mountain. I can't. Only you can do that. You can carry yourself up the mountain. The thing is that having this idea that what is at the top of the mountain and having that curiosity is what's most important, and asking the right questions. Asking the right questions is where you will find those answers. It's not about the judgment, it's about the questions, because having the right answer is smart. Having the right questions, that's genius. And so that's what I help my students do, is ask those right questions for them, because I don't know what your destiny is. I don't know what your superpower will be. I don't know what your final fate is supposed to be. And I don't know why your soul came here to learn what it's supposed to learn.
Immortality emerges as a daring possibility when quantum mind theories and the singularity converge. Microtubules, the tiny structural components within neurons, lie at the center of one hypothesis suggesting that consciousness might be rooted in quantum-level processes. If these microscopic filaments genuinely operate in a quantum realm, they could act as conduits linking neural activity to the broader fabric of reality, hinting that the essence of human awareness extends beyond classical biochemical boundaries. Meanwhile, the notion of the singularity, marked by the rise of artificial general intelligence, offers another avenue toward transcending mortal limits. Should advanced AI interfaces seamlessly integrate with the brain, replicating or even enhancing core human cognition, our consciousness could, in theory, be transferred to more durable synthetic substrates. This opens the possibility of living beyond the constraints of the biological body, blending quantum processes in microtubules with digital systems that preserve and perhaps amplify the richness of subjective experience. Tolno. Such an approach raises profound questions about the so-called technology of the soul. If consciousness is more than just electrochemical signals, if it is entangled with quantum states at fundamental levels, then developing instruments akin to quantum computers that resonate with these subtle microtubular processes could unlock radical new forms of healing, cognitive expansion, and potentially even a pathway to literal immortality. Critics caution that this pursuit blurs lines of identity, ethics, and spirituality. Yet proponents argue that clarifying the nature of consciousness itself is humanity's next great scientific frontier. Ultimately, the drive toward immortality, whether by navigating the quantum underpinnings of the brain, harnessing the singularity's promise of enhanced intelligence, or both, challenges basic assumptions about life and death. By reimagining microtubules as quantum gates for consciousness and viewing AI as a vehicle for sustaining the mind indefinitely, the once fanciful dream of living beyond one's natural lifespan transitions into an emergent possibility that demands both rigorous scientific inquiry and profound ethical reflection.
Which means that we never started, and we never stop. We always have been. That's hard for us to wrap our head around and get like a concept of that, because we're used to linear time, right? If we say, what time is it? Well, the real answer is now. It's always now. So being eternal is one of those other things that it's very difficult or impossible for the human mind to actually conceptualize, because we're used to things having a start and a stop. But it's still amazing. Sure, absolutely. Well, and so here's an interesting thing about science is
science seeks to unravel the mysteries of the physical world. Metaphysics explores concepts beyond our senses. It's time to place the soul under the microscope of scientific inquiry. The universe is vast, and we are just beginning to scratch the surface of what is possible. Particles exist in a superposition of states until observed. This suggests consciousness might shape reality. Neuroscience uncovers neural networks that give rise to our thoughts and emotions. The brain is the most complex object in the known universe, a relic of a pre-Enlightenment era. The soul, in its essence, represents the subjective, experiential aspect of our being. It is what makes us uniquely human, what gives us our sense of self, our capacity for love, compassion, and creativity. To ignore the soul in our scientific endeavors is to ignore a fundamental aspect of what it means to be human. The time has come to bridge the artificial divide between science and spirituality. We must recognize that the scientific method, with its emphasis on observation, experimentation, and rigorous analysis, is not limited to the material world. We can apply these same principles to the study of consciousness and the soul. Extending scientific inquiry to include the soul is not a radical departure, but a natural progression in our quest to understand the universe and our place within it. Just as we once considered the cell, the atom, and the gene to be beyond our reach, so too is the soul now entering the realm of scientific exploration. Imagine the possibilities if we could measure the soul's energy, map its structure, and understand its connection to the physical body. The study of the soul will not diminish its mystery or its sacredness. On the contrary, it has the potential to deepen our appreciation for the miracle of human existence. By approaching the soul with curiosity and rigor, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the cosmos. The same can be said for the human body, once seen as a divine creation, now understood as a complex and elegant system of cells, tissues, and organs. Scientific understanding does not diminish the miracle of life, but rather enhances it. Similarly, the scientific study of the soul will not diminish its sacredness. The soul, as a new branch of scientific knowledge, holds immense potential for humanity. Imagine the possibilities. Treatments for mental illnesses rooted in a deeper understanding of consciousness, technologies that enhance our creativity and compassion, and a more harmonious relationship between science and spirituality. This is not science fiction, but a future within our grasp. By embracing the soul as a legitimate subject of scientific inquiry, we open ourselves to a world of possibilities. We embark on a journey of discovery that has the potential to transform our understanding of ourselves, our world, and the very nature of reality. The soul is calling. It is time for science to answer. Let us explore this uncharted territory with open minds, courageous hearts, and an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. The future of science, the future of humanity, may very well depend on it.
Science always says, oh, we're at the pinnacle of knowledge. But here's the interesting thing about the scientific method is you have to have, first of all, a hypothesis, right? Then go through trials to get it to be a scientific theory. Well, what happens when it's an individual experience that can't be replicated in a double-blind study? Does that make it any less real? So, for instance, I've had numerous friends with stage 3 and stage 4 cancers do meditations, only meditations, no chemo, no radiation, no surgery, and their doctor doesn't understand why in a week their cancer is gone. Medically, it's not possible. Scientifically, it's not possible. And yet, spontaneous remissions happen. When you have people that say, being able to prove that some people, not all, but some people can literally see without their eyes. Well, if you can't do it, does that mean it's not possible? Or if you can't measure it with what we have available in our scientific equipment and our ability to understand now, does that mean it's not possible? If that were the case, well, think about how many scientific discoveries never would have even gotten off the ground if there wasn't some kind of a funding or a grant or a benefactor that believed that these scientists and these groundbreakers, these pioneers were willing to go out on a limb and be ostracized and be made fun of or made to feel that they're crazy by even believing this. I would say most of the technology that we're using right now was actually from someone who believed when no one else did.
There have been numerous documented cases in which people brought back from clinical death recount vivid journeys that defy conventional explanation. Researchers such as Dr. Raymond Moody, who first popularized the term near-death experience in the mid-1970s, and Dr. Bruce Grayson at the University of Virginia, whose extensive clinical studies catalog common features like heightened awareness, life reviews, and encounters with indescribable light, argue that these reports cannot be dismissed as mere hallucinations. Similarly, Dutch cardiologist Dr. Pim van Lommel published prospective studies in medical journals, noting that some individuals reported detailed observations that occurred while their brains showed no measurable electrical activity. Although controversies remain, critics, often attributing NDEs to dying brain theories and biochemical surges, the consistency and intensity of these episodes across diverse cultures have propelled a growing number of scientists to consider more expansive explanations in the broader context of quantum mind hypotheses already discussed. It appears plausible that the microtubular structures within neurons could, under extreme stress, enter a highly coherent quantum state. While direct evidence remains elusive, proponents of this view suggest that if consciousness indeed extends beyond classical biochemical boundaries, then an untethering during clinical death might briefly reveal aspects of reality normally hidden to our waking perception. Scholars have noted parallels between reported NDE phenomena and theoretical constructs from quantum physics. For instance, Dr. Grayson's emphasis on a sense of timelessness resonates with the notion that quantum events may occur outside our usual frameworks of space-time. Proponents of the quantum mind model, particularly those inspired by Penrose-Hameroff proposals, draw attention to the potential for certain regions in the brain to maintain quantum coherence, perhaps especially in crisis states, long enough for consciousness to momentarily operate beyond purely biological constraints. In that instant, say these researchers, the observer, which some equate with the soul, might gain access to forms of perception or memory not strictly bound by the body. Equally striking is the overlap between the accounts of near-death experiencers who describe a sense of radical interconnectedness and the idea that microtubules could be portals to what might be termed a universal information field. NDE testimony often details encountering loved ones or even universal archetypal figures, implying a shared repository of experience, a concept not far removed from theories of cosmic memory or resonance. Those who argue for the likelihood of technological immortality see in these testimonials a suggestion that consciousness, once freed from a strictly neuronal substrate, could continue in a different form. If that state can be triggered spontaneously in crisis, perhaps a refined future technology might replicate it in stable conditions, thus inching us closer to a scientifically guided notion of immortality. Of course, this line of inquiry faces resistance. Some neuroscientists remain unconvinced that quantum effects play a meaningful role in cognition, and many highlight the risk of conflating anecdote with proof. Yet the recorded cases and clinically detailed interviews continue to challenge the assumption that consciousness is wholly extinguished when the body ceases to function. In doing so, near-death experiences raise the tantalizing possibility that we have barely scratched the surface of our true nature, that the soul or the perceiving self could be more fundamental and persistent than our mortal coil suggests. As the documentary comes to a close, these investigations into NDEs leave us with a series of profound questions. If quantum processes in microtubules underlie consciousness, and if consciousness can, under certain conditions, transcend the usual boundaries of brain function, what does that imply for our understanding of life, death, and continuity of the self? Could the same technology that once appeared limited to artificially enhancing cognition, or to bridging body and machine, also guide us toward a radical expansion of our lifespan? And if so, are we prepared to navigate the ethical and existential implications that lie in wait? Far from dismissing these experiences as anomalies, a number of serious researchers across disciplines, from cardiology to quantum physics, continue to delve into them with scientific rigor. Their findings suggest that near-death experiences may represent one of the most significant phenomenological clues that consciousness is not necessarily shackled to strictly material processes. By connecting such accounts with the quantum mind theories already in play, we begin to see a potential roadmap to how immortality might one day be approached not just as a spiritual aspiration, but as a scientific frontier inviting bold empirical exploration.
In the face of staggering AI hype and the rapid advance towards AGI, we stand at a crossroads where quantum computers reshape our concept of reality, and the science of the soul, or quantum minds, beckons us to peer beyond the material. And yet, for all our discoveries, the greatest frontier lies in recognizing the singularity of hope that emerges when spirit and science unite. If we dare to explore this deeper dimension of consciousness, to take the soul as seriously as any physical force, then perhaps we will not only cure disease, but transcend the very limitations we once believed were absolute. With open hearts and rigorous minds, we invite the world to imagine a future where technology and spirituality dance together, forging a new path for humanity and illuminating, at last, the wonder and promise of our boundless potential.